Hello student. So let's see the bones of the hand. So in the hand there are total 27 bones are present, and these 27 bones they should be divided into the carpal bones, metacarpal bone and the phalanges. So the carpal bone they are 8 in numbers, the metacarpal they are 5 in numbers, and phalanges they are 14 in numbers. So the carpal bone they are divided into that the two rows, that is the proximal row and the distal row. So in the proximal row there are the 4 bones are present, and into the distal row there are again the 4 bones are present. The name of these bones from lateral to medial side in the proximal row, that is scaphoid, lunate, triquetral and pisiform, and into that the distal row from lateral to medial side, that is the trapezium, trapezoid, capitate and hamate. So let's see the details of these bones. So here in this diagram you can see these are the carpal bones, that is the scaphoid, lunate, triquetral and this pisiform. Then this is the trapezium, trapezoid, capitate and hamate. So these are the carpal bone, the 5 are the metacarpal bone and these 14 are the phalanges. This one. So let's see first, that is the carpal bone. So first into that the proximal row, that is the scaphoid, lunate, triquetral and pisiform. So first bone, that is the scaphoid bone. So scaphoid bone, it is the boat shape and it has constriction at the neck. So here, then it has tubercle on the distal part of the palmar surface. So here this one. Then the lunate bone, so this one. So lunate bone, it is the moon shape or concentric in shape. Then the triquetral bone, so this one, it is the pyramidal in shape and it shows the oval facet on the distal part for the palmar surface for the articulation with that the pisiform bone. Then the pisiform, this one small bone. So pisiform, as the name suggests, it is the P-shaped bone or P-like bone and it have the oval facet on the proximal part of the dorsal surface. Then next to it, that is the trapezium. So this one. So the trapezium, it is the quadrilateral in shape and it has a groove and the crest or the tubercle on the palmar surface. So this one. Then the trapezoid, so this one. So it is the shoe shaped bone. Then the capitate, this one. So it is the largest carpal bone and has rounded head on its proximal surface. So this one, rounded head. Then the hamate, so this one. So it is the wedge shaped bone and it shows a hook like projection from the distal part of the palmar surface. So here this one. The ossification of the carpal bone, so this one. So the carpal bones, they are cartilaginous at the birth and each carpal bones are ossified by the one center and all the centers appear after the birth. The capitate bone ossify first and the pisiform at the last. So the capitate bone, so here you can see that is ossify first and the pisiform bone that should be ossified into that the last. So the center appear into the carpal bone, they are the capitate bone. For this it is occurs in the first year. The hamate bone that should be occurs this one into that the second year. The triquetral bone that should be occurs into the third year. The lunate bone that should be occurs into that the fourth year. The scaphoid bone that should be occur into that the fifth year. The trapezium that should be occurs into that the sixth year. The trapezoid that should be occurs into that the seventh year, and the pisiform bone that should be occurs into that the 12th year. So these are the center appears of the ossification of the carpal bone. Then after then let's see that is the metacarpal bones. So these are the metacarpal bones, and these metacarpal bones, it consists of the 5 bones from lateral to medial side. Then the parts of the metacarpal bone. The metacarpal bone, it is the small long bone and consists of the three parts, that is the head, shaft and the base. So this one, everyone, that is head, shaft and this is the base. So let's see, that is the head, this one. So head, it is at the distal end and it is rounded. So every head of the metacarpal bone, it is present distally and it is rounded. Then the shaft. So the shaft, it extends between the head and the base, so that the middle part, it is called the shaft, and it is concave on the palmar surface and on the sides, and on the dorsal surface the shaft present a triangular area in the distal part. Then the base, so this one. So the base, it is present into that the proximal side and it is expanded, and it shows that is the concave surface for the articulation of the distal row of the carpal bones. Let's see, that is the peculiarities of the first metacarpal bone. So this one. So in the detail we should see the another diagram. So here you can see that is the first metacarpal bone. So the peculiarity is that is the first metacarpal, it is the shortest and the stoutest bone, and it is rounded medially through the 90 degrees, so that the dorsal surface face laterally. Then that is the base. So the base possesses the concave convex surface or the saddle shape for the articulation of the trapezium. So this one. After then the speciality of that the bone, that is the head, it is less convex and it is broader than the other metacarpal bones. Then the sesamoid bone, so here you can see that is the sesamoid bones glide on the radial and the ulnar corner of the head and produces the impression of the gliding. So this one. Then its base does not articulate with any other metacarpal bone, and it has epiphysis at the proximal end. So here, and unlike that the other metacarpal bone which have epiphysis into that the distal end. So the epiphysis that should be occur into that the proximal end of the first metacarpal bone, and remaining metacarpal bone, that is second to the fifth metacarpal bone, they should be occurs epiphysis at their distal end. After then let's see that is the ossification of the metacarpal bone. So here in this diagram you can see that is the ossification. So each metacarpal ossifies by the two centers, that is one primary center for the shaft and the one secondary center for the head. So that is here the secondary center, and into that the shaft the primary center that should be appears. So the primary center for this shaft, that is timing, is appears into the 9th week of the intrauterine life, and the secondary center for the head of second, here for the head of the second, third, fourth and the fifth metacarpal bone, that should be appears at the second year and fusion with that the shaft at the 16th year, and the secondary center for the base of the first metacarpal bone, so that should be occurs into that the second year, and it should be fuses with that the shaft at the age of the 18th year. So that is the ossification. So here that is the phalanges. So you know there are the 14 phalanges are present, and into that the thumb there are the 2 phalanges are present, that is the proximal phalanx and this is the distal phalanx, and into that the other fingers there are the 3 phalanx are present, that is the proximal, here that is the middle phalanx and that is the distal phalanx. Then the parts and the features of the phalanx. So the each phalanx, it is the short long bone and has the 3 parts, that is the one is that is the base, then into this one, that is the head, which is present distally, and this middle part, it is called the shaft, this one. So let's see, that is the base of the phalanx. So the base of proximal phalanx have concave oval facet for the articulation of the head of the metacarpal bone. Then the base of the middle and the distal phalanx, so this one, the base of the middle and the distal phalanx possess a pulley shaped articular surface. Then that is the shaft. So the shaft tapers towards the head, so in this way. Then the dorsal surface, it is the convex from side to side, and this is the palmar surface, it is flat from side to side, but it is gently concave into that the long axis, so this one. Then that is the head, so this one. So as you know, head that should be present distally, and the head of that is the proximal and the middle phalanx are pulley shape, this one, and the head of the distal phalanx, so this one and this one. So it is the non-articular and has a rough horseshoe shape tuberosity, so this one, this is the tuberosity. Then the ossification of that the phalanges. So each phalanx, it ossify by the two center, that is one primary center for the shaft and the one secondary center for the base. So the time appears for the ossification, that is the primary center for the proximal phalanx, it should be occurs into that the 10th week of the intrauterine life. Then the ossification primary center for the ossification for the middle phalanx, so that should be occurs into the 12th week of the intrauterine life, and for the primary center for the distal phalanx, it should be occurs into the 8th week of the intrauterine life. Then the secondary center is for the base, so this one. So the secondary centers, they are appear in the second year and fuse with that the shaft at the age of the 16th year. So that is the ossification of the phalanges. Then let's see, that is the clinical application related with that the carpal bone. So the first clinical point, that is the scaphoid fracture. So here you can see, that is the laterally scaphoid bone is present, that is the X-ray, and here that should be fracture of the scaphoid bone that should be occur. So the fracture of the scaphoid bone, that is very much common fracture of the carpal bone, and it is usually occur due to fall on the outstretched hand. The fracture occurs into the narrow waist of the scaphoid, so here, and clinically it present the tenderness into that the anatomical box, and as because of the poor blood supply into that the bone, so it undergo the avascular necrosis. The next clinical point, that is the dislocation of the lunate bone. So here you can see, that is the scaphoid and this is the lunate bone. So if the dislocation of the lunate bone that should be occur, so it is produced by the fall on the acutely dorsiflex hand with the elbow joint flex, and this displaces the lunate anteriorly and also leading to carpal tunnel syndrome like the feature. The next clinical point, that is the Bennett's fracture. So this one, so it is the oblique fracture of the base of the first metacarpal bone, and it is intra-articular and may be associated with the subluxation or the dislocation of the metacarpal bone. So here that is the base of the metacarpal bone or the first metacarpal bone that should be occur the fracture. So it is called the Bennett's fracture. Then next one, that is the Boxer fracture. So here this one. So the Boxer fracture, it is the fracture of the neck of the metacarpal, and it is most commonly involve the neck of the fifth metacarpal bones. The fracture of the distal phalanx of the middle finger, it is very much commonest. So this one, and it is treated by the splinting the injured phalanx to the adjacent normal finger. So in this way, and this is called the Buddy's splint. So this is called the Buddy's splint, and it should be restricted the flexion and the extension moment of that the phalanges. So the next is that is the child with that the 6 digit, that is first, second, third, fourth, fifth and 6th. So when the thumb possesses the 3 phalanges at the first metacarpal, has 2 epiphyses, one at each end, and occasionally first metacarpal, this one, that should be bifurcate distally, and the medial branch has no distal epiphysis and has only 2 phalanges, and the lateral branch has the distal epiphysis and it possesses the 3 phalanges. So the total digits are the 6 in that cases. So this one. So this is the anatomical snuff box. So the anatomical snuff box, it is the triangular depression which is present on the posterolateral aspect of the wrist joint. So this one, and laterally it is bounded by the abductor pollicis longus and the extensor pollicis brevis, and medially it is bounded by the extensor pollicis longus, and its base or the floor, it is formed by the scaphoid and the trapezium bone. Then the radial artery, here you can see, that is it should be passes into this region, and the digital branch of the radial nerve. So this one, that is also present into this region, and the cephalic vein, that is also present into this region. So during the scaphoid fracture, the pain is felt in the anatomical snuff box. So this region. The last clinical point that is related with that the metacarpal and the phalanges, that is the tubercular or the syphilitic disease of the metacarpal and the phalanges in the child. It is located in the middle of the diaphysis rather than the metaphysis, and because of the nutrient artery backs up into the plexus immediately upon reaching the medullary cavity, and in the adult, however, the chances of infection are minimized because the nutrient artery, it is replaced by the periosteal artery that should be present on the periphery of the bone, so called the periosteal artery. So these are the clinical points related with that the bones present into the hand, that is the carpal bone, metacarpal bone and the phalanges.